Hello class, in this video I'm going to go over just some of the basics of setting up our documents and our files so that we can create this about me page and site with a couple of pages that we're going to create. So I'm going to go through that really quickly. First, I have Notepad++ open. Again, if you're using Visual Studio, it doesn't matter. You can open it, create your file. I'm going to set my language to HTML and put in my basic skeleton. And if you go to W3 Schools, there are some good resources for setting up just the basic document. So I'm not going to go over all of that here. I'm just setting up this basic skeleton. And then we'll take a look at some things inside of that. I forgot my head element. And my body. This is a page about me. I'm not putting a ton of stuff in here, but I'm going to go ahead and save this document. So File, Save As, because I haven't saved it yet. And then I'm going to pick where I want to save that. I'm going to save it in OneDrive, and I've created a CIS 130 folder. You can create a new folder here while you're saving it, or you could have one already ready, something that you already have set up, but wherever you want to save that, and then give it a name. For this one, I'm going to name it index.html, and we'll talk about why that is later on. So I'm naming that index.html, save, and then when I go to that folder, I can see here it's already set to open in whatever browser I have set to open those kinds of files. And then it's asking me, and I personally want to use Chrome. You could use Edge, Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever it is you need to do, but whatever your preference is. Most of the time you are definitely going to not want to use Internet Explorer, and again, we'll talk about that a little later on. So I'm telling it, yes, open that. And then we can see in my browser here at the top in this tab, that's where I have this About Me. That's where what we put as the title. And then this is a page about me is what's here in the body. So we can see that that worked. I'm able to open it in my browser. And now I want to create another document that I'm going to link to. So here, again, my basic structure. Now that I have this structure in there, I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to title this, I don't know, Contact Me. Then in the body, I'm going to use an H1 header, put contact info, and then I could use an address element if I wanted to. With some list item elements. Now that I have a little bit of content in there, I'm going to go ahead and save this. So again, I'm going to save as. I want to save it in the same place that I have my other file. And then I'm going to name it something different. I'm going to name this one contact.html. Then save. So now if I go back to this index.html, I can link to that contact.html somewhere. So here I'm going to put in another paragraph. I'm going to put in a few links. I'm going to put them in an unordered list with some list items. And I'm going to first put in the text that I want to use as the clickable part of the link. And this first link, contact me, I want that to link to this contact.html page. So I am going to use my anchor tag, which is this A. Now inside of this anchor tag, I need to add the href attribute. So href equals, and then double quotes, and then whatever the path is to that file or the URL for the page. In this case, because it's a file that I have in the same directory as the file that I'm in, and I wanted to use that instead of going out to the internet and looking for a page, then I can just put in that file name and extension, so contact.html, and then that will link to that contact me page. Now, if I am wanting to do an email address, I'm still going to use my anchor tag, and it's still going to have the href equals. But inside of here, I can't just put the email address. That is going to require me adding mail to : in front of the email address so that it recognizes this is an email address. I need to use an email client if that's available on the machine and treat it as an email address instead of trying to open that in the web browser and go to a web page that would be the URL when that's not the case. So now that I have that in there, and then for this first link, contact me is going to be the clickable part of the link. The second one, my email address is going to be the clickable part of the link. And then here, I am going to put in an absolute link. So this first link is relative because it's relative to the file that I'm calling it from. And this link is going to be absolute because I'm going to use the entire URL. So here, href equals https://www.otc.edu. That way, we have all of that information there. It recognizes that it's going to need to go out to the internet, find this page, and then deliver that to me. So now I'm going to save my file. This one's saved, but I want to copy this entire paragraph real quick. Come over here to my contact page, and here below the address, I guess I'll put in this paragraph so that I have that same navigation going on somewhere. Here I'm going to change this to home, and because the other file is in this same directory and I want to get back to it, I'm going to put the href as index.html and just name it home. Now when I save this file and I go open it in my browser, or because I still have it open in my browser, I can refresh my page and then I see this additional information. I can go to contact me and then I see this page that I created there. I can click on home and get back to that. And because on my machine I have my email client set up, or if you were to have this out there on the internet where you could access it through your phone, you could pull this up, and when you do, you're going to get the option to open that in your email client. For me, that's Outlook. So when I select Outlook in my email client, it pulls this up and it automatically fills in my email address. That'll happen with a mobile device as well. So that's something to think about. we'll get into a little bit more with some of these things later on.